Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. As you could see, this morning I went very early. I went to the hospital because I had my weekly appointment there. The reason why I go every week to my maternity care is because I have a chronic illness that I thought I would talk a bit more about here today. It is something I was diagnosed with in December, and it is something that has affected me my whole life, but I was finally diagnosed. And it also affects can affect my pregnancy. It doesn't have to, but it can affect my pregnancy. And I will explain a bit could happen and why I'm doing the checkups. About 6 months before I got pregnant with my daughter, Ailey, that is now 10 months, we did a blood test and we found out that I had antibodies. These antibodies can affect the child's heart. So when I got pregnant, they said that you need to go to the specialist in maternity care. And so in my small city then, I only went weekly to check the heartbeat of the baby. But now that I live in Stockholm, I have been referred to specialist in the university hospital here in Stockholm, Karolinska. And there they also have research on these antibodies that I'm carrying and pregnancy. So I'm part of the research, and I also get this weekly checkup that is more specific, more detailed. And here they are doing an ultrasound. So every week I go and I get an ultrasound, and it's not to see the baby and all of that, because I also have the routine checks, but this is more for see and check the heart every week. Because as I said, there can be problems with the heart. It was no problem with my daughter, but it still needs to be checked. When my daughter was born, she had a little mark here, and we went to the doctor but then we went to the healthcare center. And I'm so happy that I listened to this young doctor student. She was, actually she went against what her supervisor said. Her supervisor was like, this is some kind of fungus situation. But she was like, I still want to look at the specialists and send this to the specialists in childcare or in the child hospital. So she did. And then we found out that our daughter Ailey had something called neonatal lupus. It's completely safe, but that means, this is so cool, that her body has reacted to the antibodies in my body. So this was like a reaction from her side. What we needed to do was to also get our daughter checked up. So we did. They checked if she has any antibodies. They double checked her heart, and everything looked fine, which I'm very happy for. When I got these antibodies, I didn't have a diagnosis or anything. They just said you have antibodies, and I got very, very poor information about what this actually means. It was not until I came to Karolinska, to the big hospital in Stockholm, where they were like, this can actually happen, and it's very important that you get this checkup. And I also started my investigation for myself to get the diagnosis when I came to Stockholm. When we went to the child hospital, this man was specialized in child rheumatism. So he asked also me, how are you feeling and are you sick? And I was like, I have been trying to get help since I was a child. So he was like, no problem. I will just send you, I will just refer you to a doctor here in Karolinska. I was like, can you do that? Thank you. So I started an investigation for I think it was 6 months. I went 3 times every week just to talk to different people, different specialists. In December, I got the diagnosis Sjögren syndrome. And I think the doctor also explained to me very well. I have many symptoms of something that is called SLE. And that is another rheumatism, autoimmune sickness. So she was like, the nature doesn't describe what a diagnosis is, because nature just has symptoms. Nature just have reactions. It is us humans that are putting diagnoses. So the diagnosis, it can be very fluid, because I almost panicked, because I was like, you say I have this sickness, this diagnosis, but it doesn't explain these symptoms. For example, I also get this kind of rash that my daughter had. I get it every time I get pregnant, I get it on my nose. And it doesn't look good at all. It looks like I burned my nose. Not by the sun, acid. She explained that, okay, you are having this diagnosis, but you also have a lot of symptoms of other rheumatism sicknesses. So now that I know that I have an autoimmune sickness, it is much easier for me to relate to myself and explain myself and like handle myself, because I feel like when you're living with an undiagnosed sickness for so many years, I think I must have been like, I mean, I've been having problems since I was a child, because when I was small, I had this pain in my joints, and they said that it's pain of growing, but I still have that pain, and I'm not growing anymore. I'm 30 years old, so there must have been something else. And I have explained this to the doctors, and the doctors here have really listened to me. Maybe I should just go through also the symptoms. The first one that I'm suffering from is definitely pain. Pain in my joints, pain in my knees, pain in my feet. Sometimes I cannot walk. Sometimes I need help getting dressed. Sometimes I cannot shower by myself. My husband needs to help me. That is something that is affecting me the most, of course. The second thing is fatigue. I'm not just a tired mom, like having a small child at home. I can sleep for 20 hours and I'm not gonna feel any difference. I'm not gonna feel more relaxed. I'm not gonna feel any less tired. I'm going to feel exactly the same as if I would have slept 1 hour. So, and all of this goes in like periods. So sometimes it's worse and sometimes it's better. With the fatigue, it also comes this brain fogginess that I have. That is also one of the most difficult parts to, for example, it has been difficult for my husband to understand like what is happening when I suddenly am in a crowd of people and I don't really know where I am, or I don't know what next to do. And maybe he says, oh, you wanted to go to this restaurant, and I'm like, okay, yeah. He doesn't really, he's like, he has been stressed about like what is happening in that moment, because you just zoom out, and that is the brain fogginess. And it's also very scary when I'm at work or when in social situations with friends and stuff, when I just get like, oh, I don't know what we're talking about now, or these things. Feels very scary. And the most like iconic iconic symptom for Sjogren's syndrome is dryness. So I am dry everywhere. I need to have every day. I need to have you see my voice even. Every day I need to have drops in my eyes. I need a lot of lotion. I need a lot of oils and a lot of like creams on my body, because I get very dry. I also get very dry in all areas, so to say. So I have a lot of pain, and a lot of women suffer from this. Also, you can get problems with your teeth, and I don't have that, but it is very common that you get a problem with your teeth, because you get very low saliva production, and that can cause a lot of problems with your teeth. So those are like the symptoms, and those are the things that I have suffered from for so many years. When you go to a doctor and you're asking someone, okay, I need help with my knee, but then you will get an appointment maybe 2 weeks later. The problem is that this sickness moves. So I can have a problem with my knee today, and next week it's gonna be in my hip. Same reason. It's not like I have overdone myself or worked out or anything. This is an inflammation that is moving. It has been very difficult to get help, as you can see, because when I come and I get help for my knee, I don't have pain in my knee anymore. I have pain in my hip. And then I say to the doctor, I'm sorry, I don't have pain in my knee anymore. Now I have pain in my hip. They don't take me seriously. And they will be like, okay, I'm gonna look at your knee, but then you're gonna have to look for help for your hip. So, and that's how it goes. Next time it's not the hip, it's the feet. So it has been very problematic. And I also think that it has driven me a bit crazy, because I started to think that maybe this sickness, and I even heard that from doctors, maybe it's in your head, maybe this is something like that is more, if you can say that. Yeah. So with that being said, now that I have the diagnosis, I finally get the help I need, but I think mostly that I feel like I'm being taken seriously, finally. And the problem when I'm now pregnant is that I cannot take the medicine that I could take otherwise. Instead, I'm taking two medicines that are actually causing me more problems than it's good for me, but it is important for the baby, because these two medicines is the only medicines that have been researched enough to give pregnant women with this sickness. And it also prevents, and that is the reason why I am taking it, it prevents this kind of heart problems for the child at a very high rate. So for me, it is very important to take the medicine, but the medicine has a lot of, what do you call, effects? I need to check. Side effects, of course. So these two medicines, they also have a lot of side effects. And the side effects is, one, that I get a lot of problems breathing. And I think you could hear that in my last video. When I'm walking, I have a very hard time breathing, because this medicine also collides with me having asthma. So usually you don't give this medicine to people that have asthma, but since this is the only medicine that is like researched enough on women that are pregnant, you see, the gap is huge when it comes to research between men and women. And I have really felt that during this period. The second medicine, the side effect there is that I get rash. A lot of rash on my legs specifically. So my legs look like, I don't even know. It looks horrible. It's not summer ready at all, my legs. So they're not summer ready at all. Instead, it doesn't look good, and it hurts a lot, and it's a struggle. But the only reason, like I said, I take it for the baby, and it's the only medicine that has been researched enough. To summarize this, I have been having a lot of problems with my pain. At least now I know what it is. I have finally been diagnosed, and I have gotten enough help with my kids. And that is also something that is like, of course it's important that I also get checkup, but it is very important for me that my kids are being well taken care of in the process, of course. So my son didn't have any problems. My daughter didn't have any problems. And we are checking now. So until now, the baby in my stomach doesn't have any problems either, which I am forever grateful for. So I thought I would just do a regular vlog, but I think I will focus this vlog to talk about how it is to live with this chronic illness when being a mom, because there is a lot of challenges, but I would also say that if I would have my kids again and have this diagnosis, I wouldn't change anything. I think I would be a bit more scared, because now I already knew when I got the diagnosis that I have two healthy children, but it wouldn't stop me, because I think that now that I have done enough research about it, the healthcare is very good in Sweden. So I knew that they would take care of me, and I have gotten a lot of good support from the doctors that I have talked to. Now I'm going to enjoy my coffee. My husband is out in the terrace and he's cleaning up for the summer coming. And I am having a croissant that I bought because I felt so dizzy when I was at the hospital, because when you lay down and you're pregnant for a long time and you stand up, that is not a nice feeling. I went to just buy some sugar, and I also bought my croissant. I'm gonna enjoy that while I watch my husband work. Hey! Yeah, and get rid of the daddy pool. Hi guys! So yesterday we had a little bit of family dinner after the basketball. We made some homeworks and then we just put the kids to sleep. It was a bit of a chaotic night because my partner, Iba, he needed to take the whole night with my daughter, because right now she's in this period where she wakes up all the time and she's very needy of me. So I just thought I would like summarize. That's how it is to live in a small apartment. So I thought I would summarize this like little topic of this video of my autoimmune sickness with talking about what I do to actually make things easier for me, because you really have to rearrange your life when you get sick. Because as you could see, yesterday was a very good day. So I managed to cook, I managed to go to the basketball, I managed to pick up my son. All of these things is like, on a very bad day, I can't do that. But yesterday was a good day. And on bad days, things change drastically. So then I need to have a plan. And I cannot, it's like you can't rely on your own body, which is kind of scary. So what we do, first example I will give is we always buy food home. And in Sweden, it's not very expensive to do so, because it's like if you pay for a certain amount of food, then you get it for free. And if not, it's like $10 or like 100 krona-ish. So you don't have to think so much about it. It's really helpful. And also, since we live in the center, we don't have a car, and we usually rent cars when we need to do something. So it's actually more economic to just have the stuff, the groceries sent home. Then the second thing is, I will show you. I have these kind of like, this is a pillow that I can sit on, and I got it from the hospital, and it's very good. These small things makes a huge difference. I can't sit for a long time, and I need help to get up on a bad day if I don't sit on something like this. Difficult, but it's easier. Those are like small things. I can't find it now, but on really bad days, I have this kind of stick that you can grab things with. It is also amazing, since I have always like toys laying around, and I need to pick up things, and I need to pick up laundry that my kid is throwing on the floor. And when it comes to laundry, it's always like I do the laundry because I like to do the laundry, but then my Ibba he always have to take it out because it's difficult to bend. But then I put it like I have done now. That's why it's a bit messy here. I put it here, and then I can sit and fold it instead when I'm watching YouTube or doing something. So all of these small tricks. I also have a mattress that I'm laying on that is like more soft, or what you call it, and it kind of release pressure on your spine, which is where I have the problem. So there is a lot of help that you can get, and I'm very lucky, I must say, because I live in Sweden and I got everything. If I didn't get it for free, I got it for a very, very cheap price. The only thing that I'm renting right now, and I think I need to buy it myself, is like I have this pain stimulating thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's like you put it on your back and it gives like electrical stimulation where you have pain. So if you have pain in your back, pain in your hip, you put it and it release pain. I think when you get this kind of sickness, instead of like giving up, that is the worst thing you can do, is to give up and think that, oh, I won't be able to do anything anymore. That is not true. But you do have to rethink how your life is, how your life will look like. And I think also I will talk about this further on, because I'm still in this processing. What am I going to do with my life? Since I have been working in a job that is very, very, very physical. You need to be strong. You need to be very alert. And my doctor says I can't do that anymore. So I kind of need to figure out what is it that I want to do. But another video is coming on that. And because that is like my main issue in life right now. And I really want to share this process with you. But for now, you guys know what I'm struggling with physically and also mentally. It's very heavy, but it's also very nice because there is a lot of help. A lot of research is done on the topic, and I am very grateful that I have an amazing husband, because without him, I don't really know what I would do. And he hasn't questioned my sickness one single time. He has just been like, okay, this is our reality now. So what are we gonna do about it? Basically, it's never been like, oh my God, you're so sick, you're so this. Nay, it's been like, okay, so what do we do? And I like that, because that also makes me like, it's not a death. I'm not dying, but I need to change some things. And everything is easier when you do it, when you're not alone, of course. So if you guys have any questions about the sickness or autoimmune sicknesses, I'm very new to it also. I know there's so much you can talk about, like when it comes to food, food that has like anti-inflammation is very good. You can eat very, you can avoid some things, and there are so many things that you can actually talk about, and I think that I can do it in the future. But right now it's quite early for me also, and I'm excited to learn more about it. So maybe in the future I can avoid medicine to a certain point, even if medicine is very important sometimes. But yeah, so if you have any questions, write it in the comments. Follow, because there will be a lot of interesting videos coming up. I am going 100% into YouTube. I'll see you in the next video.